Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Happy Sunday drive.
That's
Take
so funny.
two.
You're like, are you ready? And then I was like, yeah, but then I was looking away like I wasn't ready.
Sorry, this is take two.
This is take two. Cause we did the other one. We were coming the other way. Here, we're in downtown.
Yeah, but now we're leaving downtown to go back home.
Right. The sun was like in our face and like literally like Amy had like darkness had fallen across your face. So we'll do it again. So let's talk about downtown. Last time we talked about adjustable rate mortgages and then we talked about downtown. Now let's talk about downtown and then we'll talk about adjustable rate mortgages. How about that?
Sounds good.
So this is downtown.
This is downtown.
Because when you're alone and life is making you lonely, where can you go, Amy?
Downtown.
And you got worries, all the noise and the hurry. Seems to help. I know. It doesn't help. The noise and the hurry does not seem to help me.
No.
That's Petula Clark. We talked about that last time. That right down there is Harry Buffalo. That's where Amy just did a little conversation. Yeah, it's the next slide.
Yes.
We're passing by the Amway Center. Right now, this is where the Orlando Magic plays and wins 1 out of every 4 times they play. No, maybe this year will be better. Who knows? But that's where the Magic plays, big concerts and things. Straight ahead is like the Paramore section of town where the new stadium for Orlando City soccer plays. Mm-hmm. They just lost in the playoffs, so we're all having a sad. And then you're going right, not here, but the next one.
Yes.
Anyway. So, Amy was doing a thing for,
right onto State Route 408 to west.
It's sneaky. It's like...
Yes, I know. It's
Turn
like
right onto State Route 408
back in here.
to
They
west.
really need better signage.
Yeah,
just
because
as
it's
an
right
FYI.
there.
It is right here? Yes, it is.
I think it is. Is it?
Right here. No,
No.
that's not.
But we missed it then. Okay, well, we're going to go down here. Now we're lost immediately.
This is point 1. I'm telling you.
When you got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to have...
This is why I don't like cities. I am not a city gal, y'all. I am not a big fan.
So you were talking to realtors about why you're so successful, which is always funny because we don't... I mean, you are successful, but we don't
Oh, wait,
feel...
no, let me go to the left.
What?
Let's go to the left now.
Just go that way and get on I-4. Just do it. Just let's just bite the bullet and break the...
This is why I don't like cities. I don't like to drive down here. I have huge anxiety when we come down here. It stresses me out. And then when we want to add a Sunday drive to it, then it's like even more stressful.
I'm so sorry.
I'm totally stressed right now.
Just take a right and let's see what happens.
Take a right?
Yeah, let's see what happens. I think you get an I-4 here.
Onto Piedmont Street.
And which is against the prime directive. What is the prime directive? Don't get on I-4.
Yes, right.
So you want I-4 West. Just get an I-4 West and then we'll figure it out.
0.2 of a mile. Turn right
now it wants
onto
me to go to
South
Paramount.
Paramount
Just
Avenue.
don't listen to them. Listen to me. Don't listen to artificial intelligence. This is a great Sunday drive so far. So you were talking to realtors about how to be successful. We don't particularly feel successful, but you are. But so it turns out the reason they invited you to this panel is because you're in the top 25 realtors in the Orlando market, which is weird.
It was interesting something that Aaron said too, because again, I didn't really pay much.
Aaron's the guy that runs the thing.
Yeah, I didn't really pay much attention because it's not just the 25 women agents. He was like, top 25.
Yeah. We're in pink. Is breast cancer awareness was the beneficiary of this thing, and you can see here why you don't get on I-4.
Oh, I know.
But at least now you can not stress because now it's just going to go slow, and then it'll be a thing. So, what did you learn today? Not just what did you teach. What did you learn today? I thought the other agents were very. Although there was only one other agent. So you may not know this if you don't follow real estate because who cares? But there are agents, but then there are also team leaders, which is an agent that runs a group of teams, and then there's brokerages. And these days, there's kind of 3 different kinds of people. There's brokers, there's team leaders, and there's just agents. You're an agent.
Correct.
I shouldn't say just agent because that's...
Right. Well, it's so like the term is like a single agent. Like I do, Heart and Home Orlando is my thing. It is our thing.
Well, no, it's you.
But it was always just me. But there are groups, referenced as teams,
right,
within the real estate kind of dynamic where you have, like you said, you have like a team leader where they take on multiple agents.
Yeah.
So you always refer to it as a sub-brokerage.
Yeah.
So you have your main brokerage where your license is hung, and then you have a team leader who then can have, quite a few. It could be 2, 3, 4. It could be 20, 30, 40.
Right.
It could be hundreds of people under their team.
Well, and what matters to you watching, if you're interested in hiring a realtor, is know who you're hiring, because if you're probably going to, talk to a single agent or a team leader. But if you talk to a team leader, you're probably not working with that team leader.
It's very tricky. I mean, so it's just me. My initial phone call and communication with my clients is always through me. There have been a few times where somebody was coming in town and it was a little bit, multiple things happening. Maybe it was the last minute they were here in town, but I didn't have availability. Then I do have a couple of people I can call on, but they are not under. They are not under a team. They're just some agents with my brokerage that we trust, and we know that we'll take good care of our clients. Anyway, so
we talked about it before, but
that wasn't our topic. So,
but the point of the thing was, it was other agents in the crowd. Basically, how do you do it? And what we said is, get in the car once a week, talk about random nonsense, and hopefully people will call you. Stress out
while you're driving,
and people will call you. Amy made a dirty joke.
I did not.
No, Amy made a joke that the audience took dirty.
I did
I
not.
think you were surprised.
I did not make a dirty
She was
joke.
talking about she's a single agent and that I basically I don't get paid. And she said I paid in other ways. And that's not how you said I pay in other ways. And you didn't mean it
I said
dirty.
it was my husband. I said my husband does the video.
And she said I pay in other ways. And the audience totally took it dirty.
Right.
And then you scolded them for saying dirty.
No. But anyway,
that's not how that works. Okay, so anyway,
let's talk about something else.
Adjustable rate mortgages.
Okay.
So by the way, we just kind of came through downtown. Downtown is lovely. One of the things we touched on earlier, we're actually coming out a different way than we came in, but one of the things we talked about earlier was just downtown Orlando is not so big as to be a whole day trip to go there. Mm-hmm. It's not so small as to be kind of inconsequential. It's a good size. It's a right-sized city. Yep. It's just a nice town. The Mall Millennia, we're near there, so so this whole side of town, there's lots of shopping. You can buy a car, any kind of car you want. The Holy Land experience is up here, which they go out of business. So you can see this building in front of us. It was a theme park based around the Holy Land. Which they would open up, and I believe it is out of business. Seeing how there's black tape over the sign. But their whole thing was they would open up one day a year for free because they filed as a church. I always thought that was interesting. But apparently it didn't work out. So, but it's a neat little concept.
I was going to say the
neat little thing.
Architecture is pretty cool.
So we were going to talk about adjustable rate mortgages was the other thing we're going to talk about today.
Okay, let's do
because
that.
Because interest rates... I'll make a point back to the other. I'm going to make a point back to your thing, which is that all of the conversation was about, with the market shifting, and I think your point was the market has shifted.
Everyone else kept making it like it was still. And it
like
is.
In
it
the
is still
future,
happening,
this thing is going to happen.
It's happened, my friends. Things have changed.
Yeah, interest rates were 3%. Now they're 7%. That's a difference. That's a shift. And one of the points you made, I think that was great, was you got to live in the present and in the future, not in the past. But adjustable rate mortgages are a thing they're sort of going to become more popular, we think, in the near future.
Yeah.
So what's an adjustable rate mortgage? So if I see that someone's offering a 5-1 adjustable rate mortgage, what does that mean?
So you're locked in at 5 years, and then it can go up no more than 1% over whatever the cap is.
Okay, so in other words, if my interest rate on an adjustable rate mortgage right now is 6%, then next year it could only go up to... No, it can't go up for 5 years.
Right.
Okay. Then in the 6th year it could go up to 7%. In the 8th year it could go up to 9%, right? Just getting on the turnpike.
Huh?
You're getting on the turnpike now, I think, right?
Am I what I was supposed to be doing?
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's... You were looking like you want to make sure you were right.
No. I just... I was going to do my disclaimer, but that's...
Do your disclaimer. No, it's important.
No, I do think it's important just because we're talking a little bit about loans and loan structures, and I think it's very important. I'm a realtor. He's a realtor. We're not lenders, right? So lenders are the ones that you need to talk to.
And financial advisors, too.
And yes, for specific loan structures and things that are going to work for you. But... so what we're telling you is the information that we know, but the point is for you to, always consult with your lender or your financial advisor if you're, considering different types of loan structures.
And on the drive part of it, this is the weird thing from I-4 to the Turnpike, which is just so weird and dumb. The SunPass toll here is 54 cents. If they do toll by plate, it's 80 cents. So get yourself a SunPass. He might be getting over.
No, he's not.
Okay. Anyway, that's always been the weirdest thing. So right now where we are, like straight down this way is, you may see it out of the corner, you might be able to see Volcano Bay and stuff down there. So Universal is down there. I see Dr. Doom's ride and all the Universal stuff is right there. So that's kind of where we are, is in the Universal corridor.
Volcano Bay is over there.
So,
Yes.
what are the advantages of having an adjustable rate mortgage? So tell me about, when we bought our little rinky-dink townhouse that we loved so much, that had carpet the color of your shirt.
It was not hot pink. It was blush.
Okay, it was this.
No.
Okay, we had pink carpet. Anyway, we bought that with a 3-1 adjustable rate mortgage at 6.25%. Right?
Right.
So why did that make sense for us at the time?
It made sense for us because this was our first home. This was going to be in our, newly married couple getting ready to start our family. This was our 3 to 5 year, probably more along closer to 3-year home. This was not the forever home. This was our launch pad.
Right.
And so for us to be able to keep the interest rate down for a few years, we knew we'd sell it before it continued.
We assumed we would sell it.
Well, yes. Our plan was to.
Right.
Yes.
And that leads us back to another point that we always make, especially to our kids, but for ourselves. When you're planning these things, so if you're planning on an adjustable rate mortgage, the advice is always you should plan, what we say to our kids is, what if it all goes wrong? Right? So get a mortgage payment that you can afford from now until the end of time. That's actually it's good advice. It's one of the advantages of having a mortgage.
Yes.
Because you lock in that, you kind of know the term I always use from my Southern upbringing is what's your nut? What's your amount that you have to have every month to get by?
Yes.
So that it's great to have a mortgage because that establishes that. The landlord can't call and go, no, your rent just is going up $500 a month.
Correct.
So we always say, so that little townhouse, we could have still been living there.
Yeah.
Our lives would have changed.
Absolutely.
What would have been different?
Well, we would have probably only had our 2 children and not 4. And we would not have the lovely number of pets that we have. And I mean, life would have been completely different. But if we had to, we had a roof over our head. We had shelter, and it was in a lovely area, and it was gonna keep us safe, warm, and dry. But yeah. So, but that was not, that was not our plan. The plan was, 3 to 5 years. But again, your plans don't always materialize.
And as it worked out, it was 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we sold that at a whopping $2,000 profit. But still. And then we moved into our next house. And then that we sort of thought was going to be our house forever.
Virginia house.
Or could be our house forever. But that house, as it turned out, didn't have enough bedrooms. It was a 4-bedroom. We had a 4th kid.
Yeah.
Which I'm so happy that we did, but that was your idea. But I'm very happy that happened. But that we were in that house until we moved out with 4 kids.
Yes.
So the point of all of this, when we talk about an adjustable rate mortgage, or any mortgage rate really, though, is, so if you do a 5-1, you've got to think to yourself, okay, this is my mortgage rate for the next 5 years. Now, in 5 years, do I think that mortgage rates are going to be lower at any point during that 5 years, and I could refinance to a 30-year mortgage, or our mortgage interest rate's going to be higher, and I'll need to, in 5 years, either sell the house or just bite the bullet at that point and start paying an extra 1% a year. So it's you might hear it referred to as an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage.
Right.
It can be really good, and usually you're saving what in terms of versus a 30. Like a point. Well, I know. Like 1%.
Right. And so here's a reason, by the way. This is a reason why you should speak to someone who does this for a living and knows all of the different types of loan structures and the semantics and the box that you need to be in, or any kind of wiggle room within a box. Excuse me. Any of the parameters that you might be just shy of or that you might be exceeding. So, because, now let's just chat about how you can buy down the rate.
Oh, yeah,
you can buy down a point. Yeah. So, is it in your best financial interest, if you've got a little bit more maybe cash on hand, that you talk to your lender and you can, instead of doing an ARM or an adjustable rate mortgage and locking it at a specific time, is it more, is it equal or comparable, more advantageous or less to then take some funds and buy down the rate, buy down the point or the 2
Right.
points, whatever it is, to get you to where you can be comfortable. So
And
this is why it's good to talk to the lender.
I really like that, the contrast here, because really with an adjustable rate mortgage, what we're saying is if you're going to be in that house or at least in that loan for a shorter amount of time, an adjustable rate mortgage makes a lot of sense. Buying down the rate only makes sense if you're going to have that mortgage for a long time.
Right.
Because, I look at it every time we bought a house, I've looked at it, and basically it ends up coming out to, for every point or two you buy the rate down, it's like if you're in the house for 5 years, then it makes sense.
Okay.
Because you're paying less, but you had to put cash out to begin with. So
Am I getting on this?
no, because you're on the turnpike, you're just going straight.
Oh, wait, then I need to probably get over them. No,
you're good.
Oh, I hate these roads.
I know, but you will need to get over it too.
Yes, I know.
So you might be. I'm just gonna. This is a random number. Don't. Just because it's round numbers. But you might pay $5,000 to lower your interest rate by a half a point. I'm making that up.
Did not need to get over it, by the way.
Okay, sorry. I was wrong again. Another Sunday drive. Eric's wrong again. So if you buy down your rate, you spend $5,000 to buy down your rate to the point where your monthly payment is $100 less. Okay, this is not the correct math because every piece of math is different. But so then that means you're saving $1,200 a year in payments. So it's going to take you, almost 5 years to pay off. So maybe that math was pretty close. It's going to save you. It's going to save you in the monthly payment, but you had to pay the money up front. So you get a good return on your investment 5 years down the road. Now, if you keep the house for 30 years,
that's good.
Now you've saved that $100 over 360 months. So now you've saved $36,000 for your $5,000 investment.
Right.
If you turn around and sell your house before you've paid off that, before you've hit that 5-year mark, well, actually, then you just paid money you paid money that you're not getting back, right? Because you saved money on your mortgage payment, but you didn't save as much as you put in the beginning. Does that make sense?
I'm just focused on driving right now.
Right. So, a great seller strategy.
Jeez, person.
Yikes! Hi there. We won't share that you don't have your phone number on your car anyway. I was like, that's like a service vehicle, and like you're on camera now hitting our car.
Oh, Lordy.
We're having fun. And I lost my train of thought because we almost had a wreck.
They would come to my lane.
No, you were completely right.
Anyway.
So
you're saying the math that over the time you would have saved.
You got to do the math. Yeah. That's the thing, and you have to prognosticate a little bit and say,
"Good word."
Thank you. In 3 years, so if you do a 5-1, there's 3 1s, 5 1s, 7 1s. If you do a 5-1 arm, you've got to think to yourself, well, our interest rate's going to be a point higher than your rate's going to be right now 5 years from now. Well, cyclically, so the last time that we had really high interest rates was probably 10, 15 years ago. Really high. I don't have the data in front of me, but things go in cycles. I don't know that we're ever going to get back to 3% interest, because that would probably mean that we had a global pandemic again. So let's not do that. But 5%, let's get back to 5%. And so when do we get back to 5%? Well, probably in the next 5 or 10 years. Certainly, I would think we'll be back to 5 or 10% interest. So it might make sense to do a 5-year ARM. And then once that rate gets to a place you feel good about, then you refinance. Might cost you a little bit to refinance, but you've made that savings over time. The end. That's all I have to say about that. Okay. But I really like your contrast of, do you want to buy down the rate? Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yes, sir.
Seller strategy. Buyers, new home construction.
Yes.
They're giving incentives.
Yes.
And a lot of times they would say, back in the days of low interest rates anyway, what would they tell you to do with your flex cash?
They would tell you to buy down the rate.
Buy down the rate. Well, that didn't make a lot of sense then.
No.
Because rates were low.
Right.
Now it makes a lot of sense.
Now it's a little bit more, yes.
Because lenders want to make a certain amount of money on giving a loan, and it's called their yield. And so if they make their yield on you giving the money up front, then they make their money. If they charge you a higher interest rate, then they make their money. And a lot of times they're going to sell your loan anyway. So they're doing all that math. You've got to do your own math.
Right.
Do your own math.
Do your own math. Do math. Do math good.
Do math bestest. Be good math
People.
persons. Okay,
All right.
that's our message.
We're tired.
Let's wrap it up.
All right, guys. So, again, anything when it comes to the financing aspect, it really is important because there's so many different ways that a loan could be potentially structured for you in your particular situation. Also, and I said this in the last one, I don't want to forget to say it now.
Okay.
If you only think that you are ready or you're not quite sure, this is why that conversation with the lender is so important, because it doesn't cost you anything to talk to a lender and to get that advice or that information. If you're truly actively potentially looking and you want to see what that number is, then yes, they do have to pull your credit so that they can get a more in-depth look at your financial situation to be able to determine some of that. However, there's a lot of lenders and a lot of them that I work with, and the reason I work with them is because they are not just a one and done. Like they want to get you ready. So if you're not ready yet, let's say your credit score is a little bit too low right now, or your debt to income ratio is a little bit out of whack right now, there are some lenders that are going to talk you and guide you and school you through what you need to do to get yourselves ready. And that's why that conversation with them is really, really, really important. So anyway, so do that. Yes?
And math good.
And math good. All right, guys. All right, guys. Please stay safe. Stay well. Remember, we love you. I was going to say happy Thanksgiving again.
Happy Thanksgiving.
The
We're
second
getting close.
time.
We're getting close.
Oh my gosh. Let me try it again. Stay safe. Stay well. Remember, we love you. Happy house
Thanksgiving.
hunting.
Happy house hunting.